Thank you for joining me today on Lovin Sheila, the podcast. It is a joy to be with you today here in our living space, in this space that we've created for us just to chat about things that relate to women, about things that are, just things that we are experiencing daily, things that we are going through in our lives, and just to inform our sisterhood, right? So, and if you gentlemen want to watch and kind of get some insight, you're more than welcome. But don't forget, we have our promo going on because I'm looking at our shirts, our Lovin' Me shirts is just a bit of an affirmation, to let us know to continue to focus on loving ourselves. So here's one of our tanks, and I have discounted it for our squad, our Lovin Sheila podcast squad. If you go to our website at lonewolfbodywear.com, you'll receive a tank or a t-shirt for just $10. All you need to do is put in a coupon code or promo code for to get that rate. And the promo code will be Lovin Sheila or for the tank and podcast for the t-shirt. So make sure you get that, just as an affirmation for yourself. And I've just been thinking a little bit. Sometimes I binge watch shows, and I get a little bored or whatever. And so I was actually kind of watching Harlem, and it's not really one of my favorite shows. It's not something. It's one of those things that I do when I get bored, kind of like Abbott Elementary. Oh, I'm bored. I don't have anything to do. I'll just put this on. So I was putting it on, and I was contemplating some things. And they had an episode, and they were talking about the strong Black woman. And I kind of feel like the strong Black woman is every Black woman. It's just we have a stigma or whatever you might want to call it about, us being strong Black women. And we are, we are quite capable. We are multi-talented. We are able to balance a plethora of things, and we are endowed with strength. However, at the same time, I believe that the strong Black woman does minimize the world's ability to perceive us as human and potentially vulnerable. And not only just the world, but even ourselves. I found myself as I walk in this strong Black woman that haven't really been able to channel my vulnerable side, maybe my softer side, my gentler side, because there's so much of an endurance that we must have or we've had to have in order to survive in this world. And that's just me. So a lot of times, it's when I feel like I might be breaking down, I'm unable to really say, I'm breaking down, come see about me. So it's very challenging to balance the roles of the strong Black woman, yet the humanity of it all. And so that's something that I've certainly had to deal with in my multitude of years. And so that's just the dichotomy of being a woman and being Black. It's just having to balance that and trying to balance the roles and have boundaries and know when to reach out and know when to be vulnerable and know when to allow a hug to come, because it's hard. I mean, even me, it's like, okay, I'm going to keep all these tears inside, or I'm going to keep everything inside. And then when someone does try to support me, it's like, how do you receive it? How do you relax? And that's another thing. Like, I know me, I'm not a type A personality. I'm probably a type B personality, but at the same time, very intense about what I'm passionate about or what I'm trying to achieve. And so it's just a remarkable struggle to just And I'm not complaining by any means. I'm just putting it out there because there may be some other women out there who are feeling the way that I have felt over the years through various circumstances. And if we're not dealing with the strong Black woman, we're dealing with the angry Black woman. It's like, why can't we just be Black women? Why can't we just be? But we're always put into this box, this label. And I don't know if it's just Black women, it could be Black men as well, Black children, um, all of us. So it's just something that we are definitely working to overcome, to really to identify ourselves. You know, everybody's identifying themselves with pronouns and uh, everything. It's like, but we want to identify ourselves. We don't have to just be the strong Black woman or the angry Black woman. And you know, and we can be a strong Black woman and at times an angry Black woman, yet we don't have to be labeled those things. You know, we can just be our Black women selves. And I recall once I was very, I was very angry with a teacher, one of my son's teacher, and I was expressing concerns, some concerns I had. And you know, they were looking at me like, oh, they always looked at me because I guess I'm tall in stature, and I like to wear heels, which makes me even, you know, well over 6 feet. And so I guess you have this Black woman, and she's kind of large in stature, and she's asserting herself and her opinion and her views, and it just left them like, you know, kind of. That's the way that I felt. But of course, I wasn't going to back down because I was passionate about what I was saying. And they just look at me, and they really don't say much. They just try and send you over to the next person so someone else can deal with you. And I recall saying, I know you think I'm an angry Black woman. And I don't know. I said, but I'm angry, you know? And I think what I was trying to do, even though I was angry at the time, I think what I was trying to do is say, yeah, I'm a Black woman who's angry, but I don't have to be categorized as just an angry Black woman, because actually I'm entitled to have this anger that I have. And this anger was represented not by me cursing them out or being aggressive physically or verbally, but actually stating facts and wanting answers. And maybe demanding answers because I'm at a private school and I'm paying for this. You know, I'm paying money. I'm not only paying my taxpayer dollars for public schools, but I'm paying additionally for my child to go here. And for it to be any type of injustice in my mind, you're going to have to answer to me. You know, you're going to have to answer to me. So it was interesting, you know, that I was at that time presented as the angry Black woman. And then also, same place, same school. Once I had a discussion with another instructor, and it didn't go according to plan. And so I went to see the principal or the head of school. And, you know, I thought I was going to tell about, you know, what she was doing to my child. But I was greeted with, yeah, I'm glad you came. And I was like, oh. And he told me that the teacher had come to see him after I left yesterday. And she was shaking. And she was really upset. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Wow. I communicated about my child's success, academic success, some concerns that I may have had. And all I could say, all he could tell me is that she was upset and visibly shaken. And so I said, what are you trying to say? I'm aggressive? You know, what is this? And he said, no, I'd say intense. And I was like, oh. And again, my thing is, it's like, why does it have to be a label? Why can't I just be a concerned parent? And I think he went on to discuss with me my approach, how I could approach things differently. And I guess it was more, you know, side with the instructor first, or whatever, something to that effect. You know, I kind of took it all in. Didn't back down from my position because was going to do that. But, it was like, it's kind of taken aback. I'm intense. Wow. Because I care about my child's education and I care about the education and that he's receiving and the way he's treated while he's being educated, I'm intense. Well, I guess I'd have to say you're absolutely right, and some kind of way they chose to categorize that as negative. But this is just me explaining, and hopefully there are non-Black people who are watching this, me explaining how we are somewhat misunderstood because we have to be categorized by, angry, intense. And strong is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. We all need strength. And, I think I'm a strong Black woman, but I just don't want to walk around every day of my life. I'm the strong Black woman and I don't need anything and no one, I don't need anyone's support and I don't need to feel like I'm human. And, there are not days that I don't feel good about myself, because there absolutely are days I don't feel good about myself. I don't feel beautiful. I don't feel bright, just, just everybody has bad days. But yet, I'm a strong woman, but at the same time, I'm just saying there's some humanity involved. So that's just my take on the strong Black woman, the angry Black woman, and and there was a commentary that was made, and I kind of took notes on it. There was a commentary that was made while I was watching Harlem about the strong Black woman, and it said something like, let's see, it said, it's considered a compliment. And it is a compliment to be strong, of course. I don't think it's a derogatory term. But it kind of pardons us pardons the world for seeing our vulnerability, our being able to experience pain that's worthy of support. It possibly pardons the world of seeing us as lovable. And so basically it pardons the world for, I guess, compassion and love for the Black women, because we're seen as strong, and so we're always, prepared and able to face everything, and aggressive, and have a mouth that's going to spew out venom or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, we're just women, and we are vulnerable sometimes, and we need support sometimes, and we need love, not sometimes, all the time. And so they went on to say, reject the demand for strength. Until a woman rejects the demand for strength, she'll never experience her own humanity. And though I don't always appreciate this show, I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. I could appreciate that, and I can appreciate them attempting to delve into it. I look at a lot of different things. For instance, in this episode, they were talking about a woman who was going to have a hysterectomy, and she had fibroids, and I actually had fibroids, and I actually had a hysterectomy. And I was like, I was like, wow, they all, deal with it a lot different than I did, because I kind of just did it. It was like, I think this is the best solution for what I'm going through. It doesn't require a bunch of my girlfriends standing around and us, trying to figure out if this is good and them holding my hand. It's like, okay, they think this is the best thing for me. I'm not planning to have any more children at this point, so I'm good. And so a lot of times I even looked at all these different situations that I saw play out on TV, how they dramatize it, and I kind of felt like it's not that big a deal. And so maybe I have even been guilty of not allowing women to be loved and supported the way that they should be, because I guess it is a big deal, because you are having, part of your body removed. So even we get caught up. I've been caught up. Oh, I'm strong. They can't handle that. So I guess it made me look at things possibly a little different and change my perspective. And, you're never too old to change your perspective. And that's what I kind of took away from that. And then as we talk about being loved, and I said, everybody needs to be loved. Everyone needs to feel supported, right? And so it took me back to something that I told you that I was dealing with in therapy, which is emotional support, because I think I guess I had become the strong Black woman where I never felt I needed the real support, the support. I just kept dredging along, and I don't know if I allowed my husband or my son, my mother, my sisters to really give me what I needed, you know. And I don't like that about me. I don't like that. I was kind of shut off, I suppose. And so then, we talked, and working together, she said, and I think emotional support is one of the biggest things that people can get. And I can't believe it took me 50 years to realize that. It took me 50 years to realize that, because as I was being strong, I just kept moving. I just kept moving. I just kept trying to make a better life for myself, and it didn't matter the wounds that I got along the way. Keep moving, Sheila. Keep moving. And I think that's why I said that I probably got away from Lovin Sheila, because I was taking hits, and I was moving, and I was being a survivor, and I was overcoming. But the wounds probably hardened me and made me less available, less human, and I don't advise that, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here talking about it, because I have a funny feeling I'm not the only one who has experienced these things. And look, like I said, I'm no therapist. This is my therapy. You guys are my therapy, because I'm talking these out, and my opinions are changing as I speak. I mean, I'm like, oh, maybe I was this or this, and I was functioning in this strong Black woman role, and whatever the case may be. But now I realize a sister wants to be vulnerable. A sister wants peace. A sister wants to relax, okay? And I want to allow my loved ones to love me. And I remember one of the most precious things to me once happened last year. I was on my knees, I was praying, and I had some things were on my mind, and I was just praying. And my son came in the room where I was, and he got on his knees, and he put his arm around me while I prayed. He didn't say anything, but I was like, oh, and I'm so if this is a word, unvulnerable. It's not that I don't have people who want to love me and support me. It's just somehow in my strong Black woman, I just didn't know how to receive it. So I'm like, oh, and this is great. Touched my heart immensely. But at the same time, all I could think of is, do you need prayer? I mean, you need me to pray for you? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't just let him be there and support me, which is what he was doing, which I think is lovely, absolutely lovely. It touched my heart. It still touches my heart. I instead of letting him do that for me, immediately I wanted to see, what can I give you? But he recognized that I needed something, and he gave it to me. And what my job is to receive it. And that's what Lovin Sheila is all about. It's just being open to receive all the good things that God is blessing us with, that he has in store for us, and to not push back, and just to be open and breathe and receive it, and be able to allow folks to love you. Which brings me to my next point. As I was reading in this book, All About Love by Bell Hooks, and I'll just grab this here. It says, to truly love, we must learn to mix various ingredients: care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, and trust, as well as honest and open communication. And then it also says before that, affection is only one ingredient of love. And that's another thing I feel with love. And I'm just speak personally. Um, Sometimes we get caught up on a certain aspect, care, maybe care and protect. That's not, I don't think protect is in here. Recognition, respect, honesty, commitment. Um, but we have to, I'm learning, we have to incorporate all of these, because just affection is not going to work. Because at the same time, you're going to need care. You're going to need to feel that people care for you, you know. And I think the care is the actual showing the verb of the love. Okay, just like we're doing self-care, we're trying to take care of ourselves and love ourselves here on the Lovin Sheila the podcast. Um, we have to be we have to multitask, and we have to care and show ourselves some affection. And this is, I certainly need to do more of this, and recognition, and just say, girl, you killed it today, whether it's running, a marathon, or you know, doing your makeup or combing your hair, doing your skincare twice a day, whatever the case may be. Recognize, give yourself some props for the things that you do. I mean, I ran my first marathon in 2021. And I ran it with my sisters, my sexy mother runner sisters, Tina and Roz. And they had both ran marathons before. And this was my first. We did the LA Marathon. And, honestly, I didn't feel great during the marathon. I had some issues. And I did it probably like at least 30 minutes slower than I had planned to do it, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. I did it in 5:55. And, my sister was waiting for me. One of my sisters was waiting for me. And, she bought me flowers and everything. And sis, you did great. And you did great. It's your first marathon. And I'll be honest, in my mind, I was like disappointed. I totally was disappointed, because it's like, that wasn't my goal. My goal wasn't to do 5:55. It was to do better. So I couldn't appreciate, or respect what I had done, because I wanted to do better. But what I had done, was kind of amazing. I had a friend, Maureen, call me. She's like, Sheila, do you know I can't remember. It was really a small percentage of the population who had done a marathon. And she's like, I'm really proud of you. And it was like, oh, okay, all right. So because I didn't do it the way I wanted to do it, it didn't go exactly how I had planned. I was kind of disappointed with myself. I was happy, but yet disappointed. And that should not be, that was awesome. I mean, it was awesome. And there was a lot that went into me completing it in the time that I did, because, I went through a lot of adversity, I did some injuries and things like that. And so I guess my point is, and I got a little long-winded on that, is we have to learn to love ourselves and appreciate the things that we do. Because though it may not have been perfect, we need to allow ourselves some room for our humanity, even in that. So yeah, I had to overcome a couple things during the marathon, but I finished, and I was well, and I wasn't sick and throwing up and so forth, and I couldn't walk the next day. So take pleasure in those victories, and don't despise it. Like the Bible says, don't despise small beginnings. That was my first marathon. I'll have greater ones to come. And so this is my step back into Lovin Sheila, and to exposing all those little tricks of the enemy that prevent us from loving ourselves. That was one of the things for me. Not being in the moment, not allowing folks to love me, not seeing who I am, looking in the mirror and only seeing the things that weren't there 20 years ago, not appreciating, that I can still fit clothes that I had 20 years ago, or whatever the case may be. Not appreciating that, because I don't like certain things. So now maybe it's more of also an acceptance, hopefully, that's going to go along with this. So anyway, like I said, to truly love, we must learn to mix various ingredients. So care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, and trust, as well as honest and open communication. So I think that honest and open communication is a part of the acceptance of who we are. And that's what I was thinking. It all came from strong Black woman to the angry Black woman to just wanting to be heard and to advocate for what you believe in and just to be Sheila and just to be a woman, not an angry Black woman, an intense Black woman, a strong Black woman, just to be a woman who cares about her life and the way things are going and wants to be respected and have her feelings heard and appreciated. That's what it's all about. And I said all that hopefully to bring awareness to people who are dealing with people like me who may have been in an environment where they were the only Black representation. I say that right? The only representation of a Black female, and they didn't know how to receive them, so they just took their stereotypes and said, I'll deal with her as such, instead of just being open and dealing with me as just a concerned parent, a parent that's interested in her child's well-being, and one who's interested in collaborating for the success. Because it's not about being intense, it's not about being angry, it's not about being strong, it's about being heard and valued. And so that's what this episode of Lovin Sheila, the podcast, is about. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I hope you join me again for the next Lovin Sheila, the podcast. And in the meantime, if you want some laughs and some fun and some levity, don't forget the She Will podcast at YouTube. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for going on this ride with me. Don't forget to go to lonewolfbodywear.com and get your Lovin' Me shirt, Love Yourself. It only costs you $10 plus shipping and handling. I'll be doing this for the time being. So go get it, wear it, tag me on social media if you're wearing it. Let me know that you're out there, you're loving yourself, and you're thinking about yourself, and you're doing what's right for you. And nobody else can determine what that is but you. Again, this is not your therapy. It's my therapy. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just sharing my experiences from the last 50 years, and I hope it blesses someone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Lovin Sheila, the podcast. Thank you.